Hello there, it's Boltzman here. Welcome to another episode of the Analog series. On this episode, I've made an Electro Techno Bass from scratch on analog. This time it's fairly more complex than the previous episodes, but it's not too difficult, so follow along. We'll start by duplicating this channel, muting the original one. I'm gonna do a loop here. I've done some mapping on an instrument rack, very simple mapping, just the frequency cutoff and the resonance. I will show this later, but for now I will ungroup and bypass the processing. The MIDI notes I've made are very simple. It's A0 playing like this, so 4 notes in 1 bar. I'll drop a new instance of analog to initialize the synth. There we go. So I'll start by turning off oscillator 2. You're gonna switch oscillator 1 to a pulse wave and put the width to the maximum. Right here. I'm gonna add some sub, not all the way up. Around 70% sounds good. And now we need some pitch envelope. I'm gonna give it like 30%. And the time around 60%. Lastly, I'm gonna detune it slightly. Something like this, minus 0.2. I'm gonna go to the global section, turn the voices to mono, and add some unison. Actually, all the way up. Now over to the filters section. On the filter 1, I'm going to be using a low pass filter. I'm going to turn the frequency cutoff down and give it a little of resonance. To the envelope, I'm going to turn it to linear, kill all the sustain, decay to the minimum, and increase the attack to around 2 seconds. Around here. I'm gonna also drive it. Very good. On the amp 1, I'm gonna again switch to linear, kill all the sustain, decay to the minimum, and give it some attack. At around 500 milliseconds works really good. I'm gonna add some noise. No, before that. I don't want all the filter 1 to go to filter 2. We are gonna use filter 2 later. I'm gonna decrease it to 66%. So 2/3 of the signal passing through the filter 1 are going to the filter 2. I'm gonna add a little bit of noise at 5000 kilohertz, 5K. And decrease the volume to around minus 25, something like this. And I want the noise to go to filter 2, so I'm gonna do just that. And now it's not gonna be possible to hear it until I turn on filter 2 and amp 2. So let's go to filter 2. I'm gonna turn it on. I want to use a notch 4-pole. I'm sorry you cannot see it here on the screen, but it's notch 4-pole and 4p. Gonna decrease the frequency to around 650 and give it 40% of resonance. Now for the envelope, I want to switch to linear, kill the sustain, decay to the minimum, and attack between 200 and 250 milliseconds. Something like this. You cannot hear anything because amp2 is not turned on yet. So let's turn on amp2. Now that I turn this on, you can hear the noise coming through this filter to the amp, and also the signal coming from the filter 1. So again, I'm going to switch it to linear, kill the sustain. This time I'm not going to decrease the decay to the minimum. I'm going to actually increase it a little bit to 800 milliseconds, something like that, and attack to 250. I want some panning modulation. I want to use this here, so I want the LFO2 to control the panning. So I'm going to turn LFO2 on. I want the noise 2 wave. I'm going to set it to re-trigger, and the rate at around 11 Hertz. And now I can put some panning. Basically with this, the noise is being panned side to side. Here at 0.33 sounds very good. So here we have it. Now I'm going to turn on the processing, just a compressor, sidechain to the kick, and the saturator. This is it. I'm going to go to the original analog and just show you the mapping I've done. Basically, I just mapped the frequency cutoff and the resonance of filter 1 and the noise level, so the volume of the noise. It's a very simple mapping, but it gives you a lot of control over the sound. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and stay tuned for the next. See you there.